Today is Thursday, October 9th, 2025, and this is, as you can see by the screen, a calendar invite server demo, and I'm going to try to get through this in less than 10 minutes, and here we go. So we have built a calendar invite REST API. It is an endpoint, it can be called, and it is used for event pages, so web marketing pages, email templates, and apps. So what that means is our API for the calendar invite can be embedded into this example page here, which we have up and running. I'll show you here in a little bit. Someone puts their email address in, clicks one button, and gets a calendar invite, and then we track that calendar invite throughout its whole pipeline process for how long it's living on a customer's calendar. And when the customer interacts with he or she's calendar by clicking yes, no, or maybe, we're actually updating and collecting the calendar receipts along the way as they change the behavior. In addition, once the event is on the customer's calendar, we can send updates to the calendar, which we're big fans on getting the calendar first. Now, this same technology can be used as an embeddable API in a MailChimp template here in the middle. This is what I'm showing here as I move my mouse around. So this is a MailChimp template whereby the same API code is actually inserted into call to action button. You click the button and the calendar invite is sent for that event, and then it's tracked. And then in applications, and where we built a test demo app with a built-in picker. This built-in picker, if you see here, is for the NFL, and this demo series is on the NFL, by the way, since it's that time of the year. And then this particular application, someone can actually scroll up and down, pick out the event they want, and then type in yes up here, click one button, upload the email list, and send out a calendar invite in a batch to an email list for a particular NFL game. So what happens when the calendar invite goes out, this is a Zach here on the left, and Zach is going to put his email address in here, clicks one button here in the upcoming landing events page, and he receives the calendar invite here, hits a gateway, API gateway, receives the calendar invite, and then he is asked to actually yes, no, or maybe, because it is a real calendar invite. So this thing is rigged such that each individual calendar invite that is sent out has a call request back to our API server, and it gathers the calendar receipts in the event organizer dashboard. So that's what this is showing here in the explainer. So the web page itself is hitting the API. The API sends out a custom crafted calendar invite via the API, reassembles the calendar invite data, sends it to he or she downstream, and then the event organizer, in this case here, Mandy, logs in and checks out in detail how many people are going to be showing up for event, and then what RSVP response rate they are at. So that's that. And I won't go into this too much, but the data for this upcoming events page that I'm going to show you all live is the NFL. And so Mandy basically sent those NFL events to a email box. The email box deconstructed the calendar invites themselves for calendar client. We store those, and then we visualize them here in the event organizer dashboard. Inside the event organizer dashboard is a API code generator for the embeddable calendar invites. So I showed you that we can do those in a web page. We could do those in 50 plus email marketing templates like MailChimp, SendGrid, Klaviyo, etc., and then in custom applications. But what's critical here is we're using the assets of the AWS infrastructure of serverless. So this infrastructure stack I won't get into, but just note that it is industrial strength. It does work in an individual AWS account under AWS SES Raw or Simple Email Service Raw. We're using the Raw API. And we have a number of intellectual property things in which we do with the calendar invite to actually craft it and send it out. But here's the key part here down below is that at the service layer, when you inject data into the calendar invite server, we're talking all common APIs that are available via gateway, and that's how we built out this calendar invite server console over here. So as we get in the demo setup, from an organizer point of view, Mandy is managing a number of large yearly events, and she wants to allow her customers to get calendar invites by selecting the events off of a public website and send those events to themselves off her website. So what that means is that anyone who has public access to a large events page in a chronological order, the upcoming events are scrolling up and down, north, south, east, west, and he or she can get access to those by just putting their email address in, hitting one button, getting a calendar invite. Now, to Mandy, the benefactor part of it is if an event changes by time, date, location, she can actually go in and send updates to those people who have responded yes or no to the event, and in addition send promotions in the message body of the calendar invite for such things as merchandise, tickets, or limited time product promotions. So that's her benefit on her point of view. So as we drill into this, what Mandy did was took the 272 games. She used a common email address, which is essentially a simple email service box. That box kicks off a number of lambdas, and it ingests the calendar invite data off her calendar and then sets up via the APIs her ability to see her calendar invite server console and all the data in there by chronological event, and at a granular level, look at the details around the RSVPs. Now, in addition to all that, I had mentioned in the previous slide that the API code generator is in there for the embeddable REST API. So what I'm showing you between these two screens, this is the calendar invite server console, and at the same time, Mandy actually custom built a site that shows all the great data out of the NFL teams into a custom visual site for a scheduler. And this scheduler is showing all the great game data I'm going to show here in a little bit. And the note that we're using the same APIs here in this slide, same APIs for the organizer dashboard as well as this custom dashboard here. And it's the same data set because under her organizer, we're storing all the organizer calendar invite data disassembled in S3, and then at a component layer, it's stored into DynamoDB and ready for API recall using the AWS Simple Email Service raw API. So that's that. That's how that is built and constructed. So when you look at it, both these consoles here, the calendar invite console and this custom mini site which Mandy built, she's the organizer of all this data. So on the left here, this is her calendar client. She injected data into the API layer of her account. It's injected, ingested, stored, and then that same storage layer is displaying via the APIs this custom-built NFL site. At any given time when Mandy wants to manipulate data in her account that would be reflective of the calendar invite console or any upcoming web pages she's custom built, like this one over here, she can go into the original calendar invitation on her Google or Outlook calendar and change that data using the edit button and then save, do the update and then hit save, and then that pushes that data back through this pipeline here to be visually displayed here. Now any changes made to somebody that already has the calendar invite downstream, he or she will receive the updated calendar invitation with the information on it. So that's what this page represents. So in the demo setup, in the customer point of view, Zach is a customer of the final calendar invite. He sent the calendar invite off the mini site and becomes a customer of Mandy's by getting a few calendar invites for games. Mandy is aware of all this since Mandy is tracking all the data in her calendar invite status console of yes, no's, and maybes. So Zach here specifically drills into one of the pages. He puts his email address in here specifically for this game coming up actually tonight, round 6. It's for the Eagles versus the Giants. He puts his email address in here, clicks one button, gets sent a calendar invite out of the calendar invite server API, REST API. You can see this here's the REST API icon. He sent the calendar invitation itself, and he has now responded yes. So what's happening in the background in the page, he finds the ones he wants. He basically puts his email address up here and kind of spring loads or loads this up over here on the left-hand panel. He clicks one button and he gets these calendar invites, and what it does is it hits this reassembly stage at the storage layer, and basically Lambda reassembles this data on the fly, communicates to the UID of this particular event, and then name matches his name to the UID. We rebuild the calendar invite, and the calendar invite is sent out on his behalf using the calendar invite REST API. Now, when it goes out, the calendar invite itself sent to Zach is rigged such that in design, and if you look at the ICS iCal code itself, it's actually requesting a calendar receipt. This calendar receipt then, when interacted with, Zach interacts with it, and specifically, it will go back to the API call gateway, and then we are ingesting it using S3 and then doing some Lambda analytics on it and then storing again back in Dynamo. And so this data here is always in reserve and in storage and is visualized here. The point is, anytime Zach changes his mind downstream as a customer and moves it from yes to maybe or maybe to no, we recollect that data and reanalyze it up in the console itself. So at detail level, I just went through that. This here visualizes it at a little higher grain level, whereby yes, no, maybe are gathered. It's sent back to the API gateway, and then Zach's data is sent back to the organizer, Mandy, and Mandy can view the calendar receipts. So in this next setup, what happens then when the update occurs by the organizer here in Mandy's calendar client, she's just going to go in and actually talk raw communications via API for this create at calendarsnack.com. Since this UID now has been etched into the database in the AWS Calendar Invite server we built, it basically controls kind of a state workflow. So it's as simple as Mandy going in, changing the data on a calendar, hitting save, hits the gateway, we disassemble it, it shows up in her console here, in the Calendar Invite console, of course. So I'm going to show this here in a second, and then the calendar invite update is sent out to anybody downstream that has received a calendar invite using the API itself. So that's the end of the scroll. I appreciate you being patient. That's rather long-winded, but let's just get into a real demo. I do this for obviously the AI Machine 2. AI scribes all this good stuff, and then we replay it. So let's just do this. You'll see here in the middle, right now, this is live data between this calendar client talking to the API gateway, and this is the console for the calendar invite server. You'll see that everything is lined up. It says here booth 1200, says booth 1200 here in the middle, and if I go downstream to the current updated calendar invitation for Zach down here as the customer, it is, you'll see here, booth 1200, and he has said maybe to this calendar invitation that was originally sent off the NFL mini site. The NFL mini site is right here. The mini site right here is what I'm talking about. This is the live page. If I go back, you'll see this is the full schedule. We're in week 6. The game details are for tonight, which is October 9th. He put in his email address, he clicked one button, and he got a calendar invitation. And so what I'm going to show you now is Mandy, the organizer, going in and actually updating this here. And let me put that away. So let's do it. Let's just change the booth number as an example to 1300. I'm just going to hit save. That pushes the data to the calendar invite server API gateway. We disassemble it. It'll show up here, and it will show up in Zach's inbox here automatically. I'm going to hit the page here in the middle. It'll update from 1200 to 1300. It should here real time. We disassemble the information, put it in the API. We visualize it here using this Vue.js app. There it is there, booth 1300. And then over here, you'll see that Zach, the consumptor or the customer of Mandy's that got it off the original upcoming website page for the NFL, he receives a new one, and you'll see here that it's booth 1300. He's going to say yes this time. Now, he said maybe last time, so he had tentative before. What we're going to say is yes this time, so that's a yes. And so you can see that there's a two-party communication. There's data coming from Mandy's calendar invite going across here to the calendar invite console itself and out to anybody downstream. And we recreate the calendar invite and send it out to those people that are essentially customers of Mandy's. Now, the data now comes back from the customer level back to the API gateway, and you'll see it summarized here. So this here says yes. I'm going to hit refresh, and you'll see that the calendar invitation data was resent back, the receipt, and now it's saying yes here for Zach. I can say no over here for Zach. I'm going to update it, and the calendar receipt will be updated. It talks back to the API gateway. It hits the S3 bucket, it's parsed, and then it's set back into DynamoDB, and then it's ready for visual display via the APIs. If I go back, I said no. This one says yes, because I haven't refreshed this page. Refresh the page, Vue.js gets the APIs, and then shows here real time that the invitation was declined by Zach. And that's the end of the demo. Thanks for stopping by.